Good morning. It is 7 o'clock, and today I'm going to let you in on the news that I've been talking about. But we're going to take the trash out, go to the coffee shop, and then we'll head over there and I'll show you around. Hey, where are you going? It's time for work. Why are you trying to get away like that? You're so bad. How much garbage do we make? Good work.
Making only left turns navigating roads is far more difficult. Eating only dessert leads to malnourishment.
All right, so I have teased this exciting news for long enough. The news is that I bought something big. I bought something really big. And no, it's not this old excavator. It's the ground that this old excavator is currently sitting on. So about a month ago, this opportunity popped up, and it was completely unexpected. I had pretty much given up hope of finding any land or a building. I don't want to go north of here because of the travel time. I don't like the southern area because of traffic, having to go back and forth every day. And land and buildings around here, there's just none available. There's really none for sale. I mean, there's a few for sale, but they're garbage. I looked at them, and there is no land available anymore that you can do the type of things that I need to do on. This land currently belongs to somebody that I know fairly well, and he just bought the land several years ago, and he had intended on building on this land, and I was going to be his concrete guy. So he had plans drawn up. He had the civil engineering all done on this land, and then he decided to sell his business and retire, which nobody knew about. I wasn't expecting, but I heard through another friend that he had just up and sold his business. And because I was going to be the concrete guy on this land, I had already been here. I looked at it. I was going to pour all the floors for him, curbing, do all the site work and all that. So as soon as I found out that information, I texted him immediately and I said, hey man, what are you doing with that 5 acres of industrial land in Menomonee Falls? Absolutely golden to find this kind of land in this area. And he texted me back right away that night. It was pretty late. And he said, why, do you want to buy it? And I said, yes. So the issue with this land is it is extremely expensive. And I'm not talking just a little expensive. This land is very, very expensive. And I talked to my wife about it. I was feeling a little jittery about money in the bank. And we came to the conclusion that we need to try to buy this land. So I told my friend, I said, I'm gonna buy the land. And he said, okay, I already have an offer, but I'll wait for yours because we're friends and I'd rather sell it to you. So I talked to my attorney just a couple days later, and I had an offer drawn up, and he accepted the offer, and we're moving forward. There's only one issue. The issue is I don't really have enough money to buy this land right now. When I say it's really expensive, I mean it. And I am taking pretty much everything that I have that's liquid and throwing it at this land, and I'm still coming up well short. If I would have known that this land was going to become available, I would have never bought that Silverado 5500. I could really use that money right now. But selling it is not an option anymore. Same thing with the skid loader. I wish I had all that money available, but I don't. And that money that I used to pay for that would still only cover a portion of what this land costs. But I talked to my friend and I said, hey, how long can we push off the closing? And we came up with, right before the 4th of July, the closing on this land is June 28th. So I have from now until then to come up with a bunch of money. So I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna do everything it takes, and I'm gonna buy this land. There is no plan B. I'm not talking to any banks. I don't have any friends or family that are wealthy that are gonna borrow me the money. That's just not an option. The option that I have is to come up with the money and close on this land on June 28th, and that's what I intend to do. So let me talk a little bit about the land. One of the reasons that this particular 5 acres is so valuable is because of the zoning. This is a very small pocket in Menomonee Falls that is zoned industrial. So they allow multiple buildings on the same land. They allow contractors, outdoor storage. It's very flexible as to how you can use the land. There are other commercial plots available that are not zoned industrial, and they have a lot of restrictions. You can't store anything outside, which obviously wouldn't work for us. So having this is really a golden opportunity for me. So I'll walk you around a little bit here, and I'll share with you kind of what my dreams are for this land, what my goals are for this land, and then what plans I actually have. What I'd like to do is on this end of the land, eventually have my own building, Victory Outdoor Services building. So the front corner would be kind of where that garbage pile is. And I don't know the size of the building, maybe 68, probably 80 feet wide. And I really don't know how long. So the idea is maybe make it extra big and have a couple extra stalls at the end for a couple rental units, and then use the rest of the building for myself. So that's the plan for this 1/3 of the land, and that is going to be the last part of the land. That building is going to be the final thing that I build on this land. I'm actually going to start on this end. I'll walk down there now and I'll kind of explain what I had in mind for this 2/3 of the property. There is a lot of junk to clean up. Storage containers, giant equipment tires. I have no idea what this is, but this needs to be disassembled and taken down. This is all planted in concrete, and from the looks of it, it's probably extremely thick concrete. So you got I-beams in the ground, who knows how deep. So starting in this area here, there is a driveway / road, all concrete. Before I do anything on land, this will be our little burnout pad test strip. I don't know how long it is, but it's plenty long to do some nice burnout. So that's my plan for that. I want to show you guys what's in here. This thing is pretty cool. So look at the sign on this. This facility is used at FAA Air Traffic Control. You can read that yourself, but that's pretty neat. So I'll show you what's in here. Somebody might be familiar with this type of thing. I am not. But this is a massive, massive diesel engine with a huge generator attached to it. See what it says there. I know it's dark in here, you might not be able to see too much, but this whole room was set up with power and big power. It's got giant cables. I know it's dark in here. Giant cables, huge switches. Throw the switch. That's crazy. Here's a control box for the generator. You don't want to come in here in the summer because there are bees' nests everywhere in here. If you were to walk in here in the summer, that would be a bad day. It's pretty cool. There's all these really old kind of instruction booklets on how all this stuff works. In here, there's a bunch of extra parts laying around on the ground. Big power. You know what would be very cool? I've seen channels where guys will bring old motors back to life, try to get them started. And I'm willing to say that there's nothing wrong with this engine. I'm pretty sure that this engine would start with a little bit of work. I don't think it got put here because it was broken. I think it got put here because there was a move or something closed down. They needed to move it and they dumped it here on this land. But I'm pretty sure this thing probably works. I would never want to start it because it's hooked to the generator and there's like loose wires all over the place. Who knows what would happen, but somebody that knows what they're doing, just disconnect it all and fire it up. That would be crazy. Train tracks are right down there, and there's all your drainage right there. It's just perfect. You have all this land, it all flows back this way, and you got somewhere for it to go. It needs to be graded. That's why there's standing water, because it's very undulated right now. But if it was all graded off perfect, all this water would come right off. I'll show you this shed here too. This was an old precast plant. They did precast, you know, concrete. I don't know what type, if they were tilt-up panels or I have no idea. So in here is a boiler room with some kind of giant manifold right here. It's got a boiler and a tank and a manifold with all kinds of valves, both sides, valves running down both sides. They got a bunch of insulation in here. We got power here for everything. Mixer, saw, transformer, hydraulic pump, water pump, system pump, boiler pump. It's just cool coming into places like this and thinking about what it might have been like way back in the day when this stuff was actually going. This is a nice shed. I'm gonna rip all this stuff out of here and use it for storage. It's got a working garage door. It's beat up, I'll replace the garage door, but it's concrete. So it's in good shape. It's got Spancrete on the roof. It's got a little leak here and there, but we can fix that. They must have hung stuff on these nails. They got them labeled helmets and sting line. I don't know what a sting line is. Squares. There's probably somebody that'll watch this video that knows more about this than I do. A couple interesting things. So I'm gonna walk over here and then I'll give you my idea for this part of the land or this end of the property. So down in that corner there, just before the drop off, that's the corner of the property. So this generator building here is basically right on the lot line. The idea then would be to put a building up on this end of the land. So I'm standing about on the lot line. I think it's about a 30-foot setback. But to start a building here, this would be the very first thing I do on this property and where I start. I just want to get one single building up, probably 160, 180 feet long, and then 60 foot wide. And then what I would do is I would break up the building into several units, and to start I would occupy the end unit nearest the railroad tracks, and in the back of the property we could park our trucks and everything back there, anything that didn't fit in the shop, and then rent the rest of the building out. And then once that's occupied, move on to the next building and do the same thing over again. Repeat the process. So then start another building around here somewhere. Same idea. Rental units all the way along. I think I could probably get 6 rental units out of the building. So then have 2 buildings, 5 or 6. Once this building's occupied, and remember the time frame here, we're not talking, you know, months, we're talking years. So next year, by the end of next year, would be my goal to have this building, the first building, complete. Us move over here, and then the following year, if everything goes good, start the second building. And then repeat the process again the following year. Once this one is occupied, start a third building. I don't know if I'll be able to fit 4 buildings or just 3. That's questionable depending on the size and so forth. But then once I'm complete building all of the rental properties down here, then I'll start on my end of the property making my building. So I know that's a I know that's a lot. It kind of blows my mind to even think about it. But that's the plan. You know, that's what I'm intending on doing. Anything can change. You know, you don't just take for granted that you're going to be able to do all this and it's all money in the bank and all that. That's not how I think. I just feel very blessed to be at the point to be able to even purchase this land and have the opportunity to do some of these things. I never thought in my life I'd be able to do anything like this, but it's starting to happen, and we'll just see what the next several years brings. But I'm super excited about it. So the bottom line is I do have a vision for the land. I know what I would like to see happen. I just don't know what's all going to be possible. I would love to move into that first building that we build on the other side of the property by the end of 2024, hopefully in the winter months, and then have a shovel in the ground here within 5 years for the final building that I'd like to put up. We'll see what happens. I know it's going to be a fun and exciting journey, and I don't know all the twists and turns it's going to be. There's going to be inspections and drawings. There's going to be, you know, dealing with the city and going before, you know, the planning council and all that stuff I'm not looking forward to, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be an awesome experience, and I'm going to take you guys along for every minute of it. So the road that this property's on, it's full of contractors, large-scale contractors like this one here, smaller contractors. This entire road is just commercial buildings. This is a big landscape company here. Guys are waving to me, they know me apparently. Got another concrete guy right here. So it's a good place to be. Definitely make some really good connections down this road as well. Okay, so tomorrow I have estimates all day long. I have 6 actually, which is quite a few for one day. Hopefully that goes well. I probably won't video tomorrow unless something exciting happens. But we'll be back at it Friday, working in the shop. I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.